So the end to another amazing trip. Almost 4,000 miles of driving, 1,000-mile flight. It's been absolutely incredible. We saw a lot of really beautiful homes. I shared a few of those homes with you on video. Make sure you check that out. Everything was a success, but some observations on this trip. I got to ask Enrique, we passed a lot of RV lots, a lot of car lots, all this stuff. I've been talking about this daily because I've never seen, especially out here in Texas, the lots out here are so enormous. The amount of multifamily out here is so enormous. Who's going to buy all this stuff? Who buys all the cars, all the trucks? Who's going to be buying, or all this multifamily at $3,000 a month? Who's going to do this?
Well, it's definitely not going to be the middle class. I can tell you that for sure. Their purchasing power has been eroded these past 2-3 years, and if there's anybody buying out there, it's probably people who have the cash to be able to purchase these things either outright or at least a 50% down payment or more. The interest rates are just very ridiculous right now. There's a lot of different dealerships that we passed along the way, whether it be RVs or vehicles or trucks. They were all filled up to the max. There was hardly any people on these lots as well. And so, yeah, the middle class is definitely not going to be buying these things.
So there's going to be a lot of vehicles sitting. Your thoughts? We saw a lot of the RVs, a lot of the dealerships, all this multifamily. What are your thoughts on all this being out here in Texas? Because I've never seen so much multifamily. I mean, 1,000 units here, 1,000 units there, 1,000 units, 1,000 units, 1,000 units, 700 pickup trucks here, 500 pickup trucks there. Who's going to buy all this stuff?
Well, so with the multifamily units, obviously there must be a demand for it or they wouldn't be building it. And so I'm thinking that a lot of these are probably coming from California and probably New York and other places that they're trying to get out of those states and come here. So that's my guess on that. The vehicles and the RVs, I don't know, they're eventually going to have to discount them, or they're going to just have to lower rates enough to where people can afford this stuff. Maybe I don't know.
And I would go back to you on that. The multifamily, these builders borrowed this money years ago, and these projects had to go forward. They may have timed this very wrongfully, because just like 07, we saw huge projects in our area going up. The money was borrowed. They had to move forward, and by the time they were finished, we were in the great financial collapse.
Yeah, a lot of these buildings that are going up right now, it looks like they could be projecting that these buildings will eventually be completely filled up, probably in another 20-30 years, but definitely between now and the next decade, they're going to have a lot of issues trying to get these buildings completely occupied, and for people to be able to properly afford these things. In the current economic condition that we're entering, I don't see that these buildings, these multifamily units, are going to be completely filled up, and the tenants are actually going to be able to afford this properly.
The only other thought I would have on it is it possibly for the newcomers, people from all over the world coming here? Is that a possibility? Because we're seeing, even in the valley where we live, which is nowhere near the size of where we're at, but we're seeing these 1,000-unit structures going up. There's 4 or 5 right now in the valley that are nearly completed, and we're all wondering, where are these people going to come from? What are they going to do for work? Who's this for? Let me know your thoughts. Is this for newcomers? Aaron, is that a possibility?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have people that are pouring into the through the borders, millions of people every year, possibly. But then you could have like BlackRock, Vanguard, stuff like that. They could be, buying up these. We don't know who owns all these properties and what, but yeah, I mean, it could be anything.
We went to dinner last night, grabbed a nice meal last night in Austin, downtown Austin. It's phenomenal. And the restaurants, I will tell you, are packed. The coffee houses are packed. People are spending money. And there's no doubt people that have money and they can afford to go out for a nice dinner, they can afford a coffee, they can afford to buy nice cars. There is no doubt wealthy people out there, and that wealthy class has gotten wealthier, while the middle class of the poor are losing. But I still wonder, when we go out to lunch or dinner or whatever, I wonder how many people are putting this all on a credit card. People who just cannot stop the spending, people who will not give up the lifestyle. They will go down with the ship. They're gonna spend all the way to the very end. What are your thoughts on that? Because it looks like, especially in Austin, people are spending money.
Yeah, I mean, if you look in Austin, I could see that there are people that look like they're wealthy, But remember, the key word here is look. Many people that are truly wealthy, they've already gone past that. I think a lot of them have already realized that right now is not the time to be spending ridiculous amounts of money on a night out. More than likely, a lot of them are probably saving a lot of their money or probably putting it into a lot of assets. So, like I said, a lot of people out there, yes, they're spending, but how many of them can actually afford to be able to spend a couple $100 a night out and pay it off in full if they do put it on a credit card? I don't think there's too many of those people left.
I'm sure, I've been to Vegas in a very, very long time. I'm not a really big fan of Vegas. I'm not a drinker, I'm not a partier, not a gambler. So, but every once in a while, I go about once every 2 years to meet up with some people or an event. And you see people spending like crazy, and it's always on the credit card, always on the credit card. And again, there are people that can go out to dinner every night and it will not even faze them. They have the resources and the means to do that. But how many people now, when we know that 80% of this country is living paycheck to paycheck, can afford to do this? And people continue to not be able to control themselves, give up the lifestyle. They will continue to go out and have $100, $200 meal. They will continue to buy stuff on Amazon every day, every week, having packages shipped to them like it's literally Christmas every day. We know that nearly 30% of people still owe money on their credit cards from last Christmas, and they will continue to spend for this Christmas. And people are going to go further. And as we reach into the holiday season, people are going to go deeper and deeper into debt. It's forecasted that people are going to spend more money this holiday season shopping than they did last holiday season. And look at where the economy is right now. What are your thoughts on that?
So Austin, I feel, is a little bit different than the U.S. across the board, because I know a lot of people have moved here. I know there's a lot of wealth here. And so with the two-tier society that we're starting to see, there's a lot of people here that have money.
Right.
So I could see why there's still a lot of people in there, and that's what's going to happen. The rich are going to continue to get more rich, and the poor are going to get wiped out. So for y'all to see a lot of people in a restaurant like that, it's not really surprising to me, just because...
What is shocking is the amount of steakhouses in Austin. We must have looked at 20, 25 steakhouses, and I would assume most of them were probably full. But what I did observe last night in Austin was the homeless crisis. Oh, yeah. I could smell feces. I could smell urine. There are homeless everywhere, and it looks just like most other cities. It reminded me a lot of San Diego. Homeless everywhere. Nice city, not the biggest city, but a very, very nice city, and homeless everywhere. But my concern is that there's a lot of people going out and spending like they are wealthy, and they're going broke trying to look wealthy. Your thoughts?
Yeah. So again, a lot of people out there, you look at them and you don't really know their financial situation. I've met a lot of people over the years where they'll bring me their bank statements or credit card statements, and I can see the amount of spending that they do, frivolous spending that's not necessary. So it gives me a picture of how people do spend in public when I see all these bank statements throughout the year from different clients, and I see how they are, I see how much money they make, I see the places they go, I see the shopping they do, and so it gives me a clear indicator of the average person on the street. So yeah, I do think that a lot of these people on the street, they're flaunting like if they have wealth, but a lot of them are in serious debt, or sometimes they forego making certain payments because they're out there either trying to impress someone, or they're out there trying to live like if it was 15 years ago or 10 years ago, or in a time when they used to be able to afford it. If they cannot afford it anymore, they put it on credit cards.
So probably one of the worst things you could be doing is blowing money at restaurants. I mean, we're on the road here. It's our last night. We treated ourselves. And look, put balance in your life. Make sure you treat yourself. But if you cannot pay cash for this stuff, if this is going to have to go on a credit card and you can't even pay it off next month, you should not be going to dinner. Stop the flex. I think Aaron would agree that you're probably better off buying an ounce or two of silver before you're going out partying at the bars, going out buying a steak dinner. And if you have no silver, see, it's too many people make the excuses. Oh, I'm broke, I don't have any money. You're telling people to go buy gold and silver, but you're the person at the steakhouse last night. You're the people at the barista. You're the person at the bar running up $100, $150 bar tab. But then you'll sit here and say, I'm talking about buying gold and silver and people are broke. And you're broke and you're doing all this, but yet you're on social media posting all this, You're going for the steak dinners, you're going to the bars, you're flexing, and you have absolutely no assets put away for an emergency.
It really comes down to choice. It
Yeah.
really does. So, like, I choose to change my fiat to gold and silver. You know, obviously mainly silver. I could have a brand new truck right now,
Right,
but I don't. My
Right.
truck is paid off. It's fine.
right.
But so I could go out and buy a brand new truck, but I think it's more important to put back those assets. So it comes down to a lot. I mean, some people just flat are barely even able to survive. I get that. But it comes down to, do I need a new truck every 2 years? You know, do I need a bigger house? You know, what?
Right.
So I've made the sacrifices, and instead of going on vacations or buying a new truck or, you know, going out to eat all the time, I put it into gold and silver.
Right, and you have no issue if you want to go for a steak dinner once a week or whatever. That's not gonna
Right.
change your life whatsoever. But yeah, you were telling us the other day you've made a decision not to really put any more money in your house because all you're going to do from here on out is continue stacking. So you know that's that's a choice, that's a sacrifice. Aaron could put a lot more money in his house and do whatever he wanted to do, but he has made a lot of sacrifices, and I can verify that. And Enrique, I mean, you know, every once in a while you got to treat yourself as long as you can afford to do so. And if you want to go out to dinner every night and you can afford to do that, God bless you. You want to drive a Ferrari, a Lambo, a McLaren, you can afford to write a check for it and do it, God bless you. You're very, very blessed. This is for the 80% of people living paycheck to paycheck who better wake up and start making serious choices here, because you're already way behind. And people want to continue to flaunt, they want to flex this narcissistic lifestyle that has been created in America, where everybody has to keep up with the Joneses, everybody has to impress on social media. You do realize that most of these people on social media are completely broke. There's a lot of people that make these videos every day telling you how to get rich, telling you how to make money, do this, do that. They're completely broke too. So, you know, be careful with who you're following. And before we wrap this up, we are heading in deeper into what I would call depression at this point, and you're going to see a lot of desperation out there. There are going to be a lot more. I've made videos on this. The con artists trying to sell you everything for doomsday. They're going to prey on your fear, on the doom and gloom, and they're going to try to convince you to spend your money and invest in things, buy things that are completely ridiculous. Be very weary of the snake oil salesmen and the con men on social media. They're all over the place. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of shady people out there. Again, I think on another video we had reiterated that if you do decide to buy gold and silver, make sure you buy it from a reputable person online. If you do decide to go that route, there's a lot of people out there that don't post their spot prices. And then also, if you do decide to buy it in a physical store, whether it be a pawn shop or anywhere like that, try to do your due diligence as best as possible. If they have the tools to be able to verify your metals, I would definitely do it. Or if you bring your own tools, they should not deny you to use them on spot. If you are spending your hard-earned money to be able to grab this silver or gold, you want to make sure that you get, you know, the right metals. You don't want to stash them away in a safe and 20 years later trying to use them to buy an asset,
Right.
and then find out that all these metals are copper, or that there's some sort of a metal that's not worth anything.
And we're seeing metals. When we're talking about gold and silver, the metals, we're seeing it more on mainstream now. It's on CNBC literally every day now. It's going to become more and more popular. So, you know, be careful of this stuff on eBay. eBay's bad, right? I mean, you wouldn't be
I
buying
would. I
anything
mean,
on eBay.
supposedly, I think as long as, from what I've heard with the eBay, as long as it's a reputable company that you know, I think it's okay. But
Yeah.
I've
Careful,
never,
private parties, all of that. But you know, there's so many people that just, you know, they're telling you the world's not going to come to an end. Let's just be very upfront about that. The world's not going to come to an end. It's going to change. It is changing right now, and it may be changing into a two-tier system. You may be seeing wealth transfer, which obviously is happening because you're seeing more of this two-tier system of the haves and have-nots. So, you know, be very, very careful. You know, the people telling you the world's going to end, but, you know, they're selling you skin products. Do you really need that if the world's going to come to an end? Yet you need real things. You need to be investing in yourself. You need to be owning real things. You need to be putting some cash away. We talked about, you know, as we were on the road, something went wrong. Well, we had plenty of security in the vehicle. We had plenty of cash in the vehicle. I'm not carrying silver around because silver's for an economic collapse, a dollar collapse. You know, when the dust settles, you're going to need gold and silver, in my opinion. But, you know, if the grid goes down, there's a massive cyber attack and you're stuck somewhere, as we saw with the storm victims. cash was king. If you want to get gas or food, if you could even attain it, you needed cash. You need security, maybe some food and water in the vehicle. I think that's probably and probably a good pair of boots or shoes. I think is absolutely important, especially in the terrain we were at. You know, have yourself a good pair of Salomons, a good pair of boots, shoes, because if you have to get out of that vehicle and you have to hike home 100 miles or whatever, you're going to thank God you have that stuff. So food, water, cash, security, boots, maybe some extra clothing, because it makes you think when you're on the road. And when we were in these storm areas, if we were stuck out here, what would we do? Do we have the correct gear? So we had plenty of clothing, everything. So, you know, these road trips really open your eyes and make you think about, what if you were here? What if you were driving and something happened? And we were really concerned as the election comes up that we got back, at least here in Texas, in time in case anything arose. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's very important to be able to equip yourself on a road trip like that. I personally always carry several things in the vehicle. One of the things that's also very important to carry for a lot of people out there, and I know I've actually saved people on the road before. Well, not on the road, but if you see that someone has a flat tire, I personally always like to carry, there's inflators that you can buy,
Yeah.
and they're battery powered. And if somehow maybe your tire has low air pressure, you can fill up the air pressure, and then maybe it'll get you to a point where you're able to go and switch out that tire. Or you can go ahead and switch out that flat tire, or the tire that messed up. It's very important for you to have certain equipment. You never know what could go wrong, and that could save you a lot of money. It could save you from spending a couple $100s on trying to get your car towed somewhere as well.
Your thoughts? And you were adamant that we had the proper gear,
Right.
that we were ready for anything, that we got back here in Texas to home base before the election. We'll be heading back to California here shortly. But you were adamant that, we are ready for anything. And we felt very comfortable, very secure. Right. And, look, I sleep very good at night. Everybody here sleeps very, very good at night, because everybody here is training. Everybody here has put assets away. Everybody's investing in their skill sets. So,
yeah. Well, my big concern is we don't know what's going to happen with this election. I'm pretty sure that the powers that be do not want Mr. T in there, so I don't put anything past them for them to do anything.
Right.
And also with what is coming, let's be clear, these clowns, and they are clowns, that are on social media just talking about how they're going to monopolize on people losing their properties and vehicles. Like, I don't think they understand and realize what is coming.
Right.
When people lose everything, and people are going to lose everything, there's going to be millionaires, I would say even billionaires, that are going to be devastated because they don't know what is coming. Yep. And when this happens, people are going to lose it. And it's not just going to be, oh, I get to pick up all these properties and stuff on cheap. You might be, you just staying alive is going to be your main
could
concern.
Definitely, no doubt, being a Mad Max scenario, as Bill Holter always reminds us. So yeah, stop thinking that it's just going to be a financial collapse, because it's going to be much more. It's going to be a social collapse. Right. So you're going to have something that we've never seen before, a financial and social collapse, and you're seeing it all happening right now at the same time. You're witnessing a financial and social collapse happening right now at the same time. One other thing I would like to share with everybody, another observation, is when we were in Florida, we were just grabbing a burger, and I couldn't believe how many people were walking in to a Whataburger in their pajamas. And I will say, just an observation throughout America, no state in particular, this includes California, everywhere, people are in the most out of shape I've ever seen them. People look deathly ill. They're extremely obese. And this is going to be a big problem for what's coming. And when I see people who take absolutely no pride in their appearance, and they wonder why they're not getting ahead in life, because they wear pajamas out to dinner. They wear their slippers into a restaurant, and they look completely like slobs. And, people just wonder why they don't get ahead. Maybe take a little pride in your appearance. Take care of your body. Treat it like a temple. Get yourself in shape. And look, I'm not judging or being critical of anybody. This is purely an observation. But there is nothing positive about being 100 pounds overweight. You're going to cut your life short. You run a higher risk of heart attack, cardiovascular problems, cancers, everything. So, take a little pride in yourself, start working out, get in and learn how to protect yourself. But I just cannot believe, and this, I've seen this all over California. This is just, I mean, maybe it started in California where people just wear their pajamas out to dinner, wear their slippers out to dinner. It's just disgusting, where people now are just in the worst shape of their lives, mental illness running wild, people wearing slippers and pajamas out to dinner, and people think they're going to survive this. People really think they're going to survive what is coming in this condition.
Yeah, and also I have that same observation. Obviously, I think that's been going on for several years.
Yep.
But the thing is there's other countries where you don't see that type of stuff. And a lot of these countries are not as wealthy as the U.S. The U.S. has a lot of, well, they say that there's a lot of wealth in the U.S., but even in third world countries, you don't see people going out into the streets wearing these types of clothing, you know, the pajamas and slippers, and, you know, going out like if they were going to go take a nap somewhere. So, yeah, definitely a lot of people here need to wake up, and they need to realize that this is not a joke. When you're out in the street, you need to be prepared. I mean, something could happen in the middle of the street, and if you're in your pajamas, you're going to have a hard time getting away.
That's a great point. You know, whenever I'm out, I'm always in a good pair of shoes, and you do not want to be caught in something bad wearing pajamas and slippers. Not good. Have you ever gotten in an altercation, heaven forbid something worse, and you got to run for your life? You do not want to be doing it in house slippers. But anything you want to elaborate with this with people? I mean, and again, I'm not being judgmental of people. I want everybody to get in the best shape of their life. I want people to be able to defend themselves, take care of themselves, live a healthy life. I want you to live to be 100 years old in great condition. Who knows how long we're going to live? But and there's no guarantees. But put the odds in your favor. But doing what you're doing, eating as bad as you do, being 100 pounds overweight, is a dead end road.
Yeah. So Americans as a whole are lazy.
Yeah.
And I think we're of, you know, the mentality that nothing can ever happen here. And so, yeah, we're lazy. We're used to living with excess. You know, we're the only country, I think, that has storage. So we're all about buying crap and holding on to stuff.
We don't have anywhere to put it, so we got to get a storage unit.
Yeah. So I just think Americans as a whole are lazy and all that. But I do want to bring up a point y'all were talking about earlier about people doing taxes. So when I had my taxes done by my tax guy, he told me that there's actually people that make over $1 million a year, and he has to take their payment for his services out of their return because they don't have enough to even pay him. So it's Americans as a whole. It doesn't matter if you make $30,000 a year or $1 million a year. It's our mentality. We live beyond our means.
Right. The guy making 30,000 is living like he makes 100. The guy making $1 million is living like he's making 2 million or 3 million. And so my advice has always been making these videos. If you make 50 grand, live like you're making 25, 30. If you make 100, live on, you know, like you're making 50. Basically cut it in half. And I'm telling every one of you, I'm not going to sit here and tell you anything because I don't want to be one of those people that says I have all the answers. I'm telling you something, but I would do everything in my power now to build up as much capital as possible. I think we're going to see big runs in the metals, and I think at some point they're going to get very, very difficult to get. I don't have a crystal ball, but I think the writing is on the wall that things are changing. The BRICS meeting and all these BRIC nations that are coming over to join the new financial system with BRICS. We're going to see things in our lifetime that we never thought before. So while people are running around in their pajamas and slippers and have absolutely no money, if they think they're going to survive what is coming, God bless you. I wish you the best. You want to add anything?
Well, I think the main thing that we can take away from this video here is to invest in yourself. And I've always been a big proponent of investing in income producing assets and property, and in yourself as well. If you have skills, invest in yourself to be able to bring yourself up, to be a better person, to be able to have the security that you need, and to be able to put away the assets in case there's an emergency.
You can have all the money in the world, but if you can't handle your business, if you cannot protect yourself, your family, it's going to be somebody else's. You want to close?
Yeah, I really think something dark is on the horizon. I know you've been making these videos for 5-6 years. I've been talking about it on my channel a couple years now. And again, I'm going to bring it up. You know, can you afford for, you know, me to be wrong? Because I can afford to be right.
When's your next video coming out?
Hopefully
Day or
a
two?
day or two. Yeah, I want to put out a video talking about metals, like what I recommend and what to avoid and stuff like that. So hopefully I'll get that out in a day
check
or
out
two.
Texas Silver. He's been doing a really, really good job. You're over 10,000 now. Keep up the good work. And as always, my best friend here, taking care of business, got us back to Texas. We'll be spending a little bit more time here before we head back to California. Been just a run and gun, Enrique.
Yeah.
Been fantastic.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know if I can say I can't wait to do it again, because this one really, really beat me down. I mean, 2 weeks of just, I mean, it's unbelievable. But I'll tell you what, if you're 100 pounds overweight, you might have a hard time doing this. But I learned a lot. We observed a lot. We met a lot of people. And it really made me think a lot from state to state with what I was seeing with the economy, what we saw happening with socially with the storm victims. And I will say this, if you're, if you got a roof over your head today, if you're eating a meal today, if you're watching this video on your phone or your computer, you are so damn blessed. You have no idea. Those people in the Southeast, they've lost it all. They've lost family members, vehicles, houses, businesses. They've lost their lives, and it doesn't look like anybody's coming to save them. So keep them in your prayers. You go back, check out our videos. You can make a donation. Appalachia's Homestead gave us some links, so you can go back to those videos, check out those links if you want to send $5, $50, 500, whatever you want to do. I would highly recommend doing it before giving money to a 501c3 church. Give a good tithe and help those people, because that money will go to helping people who need it right now. God bless every one of you. Please like, share, subscribe. Be safe out there. And as always, I look forward to speaking with each and every one of you. The bass are jumping all over the place this morning.
Yeah.
I might have to grab a pole here pretty soon and get a little fishing in. Take care. God bless.